Good morning, lovely day. I have a urgent message for all Canadian truck drivers. Now, me being an American truck driver, I have to admit, if I were a Canadian truck driver right now, I would be in a serious state of thought as to my future of how to be a better Canadian citizen. All right, Canadian truck drivers, it's obvious, the government, the police, and general society in Canada have deemed you, from the direct words of the Prime Minister, of course, that you are a terrorist. You, Canadian truck drivers, are white supremacists. Yes, even the Sikh truck drivers, you are white supremacists. Even those Middle Eastern guys, the ones from Iran and stuff like that, yes, you are a white supremacist Canadian truck driver. You're also homophobic, highly racist, misogynistic. Okay, Canadian truck drivers are officially all of these things. Well, nobody wants to be these things. If I were in your shoes, if I was a Canadian truck driver, I wouldn't want to be a terrorist. I wouldn't want to be a racist or misogynistic or sexist or anything, or white supremacist. I don't want to be any of these things. I want to be a good, compliant, submissive Canadian citizen. And how do I achieve that so I can get back in the good graces of the government and the police? How do I submit to your will? I won't be a truck driver anymore. How's about that? Starting March 1st, all Canadian truck drivers need to renounce their evil, terroristic, racist ways. March 1st, 2022, disband, disperse, submit, and go home. Take your truck out of Ottawa, take your truck out of whatever area of the country you're in doing your protest. It's time for you to go home. Take that truck back to wherever you park it. Get out of it, take your stuff, and say, I renounce my evil ways. I will no longer be an evil Canadian truck driver terrorist. All right? You go home, you need to reflect on it for the entire month of March. All right? Go home, stop off at the store on the way home, stock up on some good food, because you can't leave the house for a month. You got to sit there on your couch and reflect, meditate, and renounce your evil ways as a Canadian terrorist truck driver. All right? All truck drivers in Canada need to do this to heal, to make the country better, and renounce their evil ways. Please, I beg of you, comply with Prime Minister Trudeau's orders and his executive powers. Stop being a Canadian terrorist truck driver. Go home, reflect on it, take the month of March off. All of you have to go home and take March off. Reflect, renounce your evil ways, and then if you can fix yourselves, you can find the resolve to be a Canadian truck driver again and not a terrorist. April 1st, if you find the clarity, come back to work April 1st. If you suddenly realize that you cannot find that clarity, April Fools, I gotta go home and reflect another month. How's about that? But you gotta make the government happy here, all right? Give the police some reprieve and all this. They've been busy at work, stomping people with horses and stuff and whatever. You don't want that going on. You don't need that kind of static. You need to go home, sit on the couch. Like I said, stop off at the store on the way home and pick up lots and lots of Molson or Labatt's or Moosehead, whichever you prefer. Pick up a pallet of your favorite beverage, stock up on some mac and cheese, and fill up your gas tanks, and go take the month of March off. Call it March Meditation Month. Stop being a terrorist. Take March off and repair yourself, find resolve, and submit to the government and how they want you to be. All right? All Canadian truck drivers, it's time to take a month off and submit, comply, and just be a good Canadian citizen. That's all you want to be, okay? You want the government to love you. And I think if you stop being a terroristic truck driver, then the government will love you again. So there you go. If you go home and take the time off, a good restorative vacation for a month, so you can find the healing of all the terrorism you've caused, I think maybe the government might thank you for it by the time maybe if you're ready to come back to work. So anyway, that's my rant.